Liberation greetings to all and sundry, my dear people of the southern Cameroons, my dear people of Amazonia, my fellow brave warriors of our liberation movement. Accept liberation greetings from me this Friday, the 27th day of June 2025. And I know the time now should be about 9:30 p.m. Central African time or West African time, that is on ground zero. And of course, this is 4:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, United States of America. I'm delighted to be on with you. And so, if you are just joining, if you have just joined this show, share the link and share and share and share as much as you can. Let's try to get as many people as possible to be part of this broadcast. Again, like I said a while ago, it's always a pleasure for me to be on this set with all of you so that we have the opportunity to examine the things that are happening on our territory, to also examine the things that are happening with our noisy neighbors who have decided that they're not going to leave us alone until we kick them out with force. My dear people of Amazonia, I know that we are all aware that this year, 2025, is a very determining year as far as this liberation movement is concerned. And I know that a lot of us, sometimes publicly, sometimes privately, and at times in groups or even individually, are mobilizing seriously, doing everything we can so that we stand ready when the time comes to, make sure we are able to do what we are supposed to do. I'm not going to be elucidating exactly what we're supposed to do because we already know what we're supposed to do. And as I did the last time, I want again today to extend hearty salutes to the business community, to all our buy and seller, all our taxi drivers, all our commercial motorbike riders, all the truck pushers, everyone, the ones that like people in Bangai used to say people for chook head, repenode, remenode, everybody, all the civil society groupings. I'm extending hearty salutes and hearty congratulations to all of you on Ground Zero for continuing to hold it tight, very tight, by making sure you shut down when we say it is time to shut down. And just so you know, that let you out this to you in advance, it is obvious that the month of October, and so we have to be getting ready, we have to prepare. The month of October is likely going to be a complete shutdown for the entire month because that is going to be a very, very deadly month. We are not many months away from that. We're a few months away from that moment. So as we do things now, as we carry out our activities, do our businesses, spend money, most especially, let's make sure we are setting aside something to prepare for the month of October, which is going to be extremely deadly and difficult month. Deadly because La République du Cameroon, we may have spillovers of what is going to be going on there into our territory. And also because they have not yet ceased using their brutality on us. And so, every October they become very paranoid, really paranoid on our territory. But most especially because of the nonsense they call elections, which is their local affair going on their territory and that they want to force onto our territory. The month of October is likely going to be a complete closed month from the first to the end. Perhaps with just weekends for people to get out and do things. These conversations are ongoing. These discussions are ongoing among the various stakeholders. But I'm just dropping here so we can start preparing our minds and knowing that this is what is lying right ahead of us. Now, to get into the viv of our discussion, I'd like to come back to this thought that I shared. And this is very fundamental. I like us to pay careful attention to this because all of what we are going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks or months will turn around this thought that one of the scariest enemies on earth are those people who pretend to be your friend. Because what you're about to be seeing, both in La République du Cameroun and on our territory, is going to be turning just around this thought. So keep this somewhere at the back of your mind. Let it be part of your muscle memory so that when anything happens, it kicks to it immediately and comes back to you. That, oh no, Mbakuro shared this thought And so it should help you to be able to quickly interpret and understand situations as we go. Before I really delve into our discussions, and while you are inviting many more people to come and be part of this very important conversation, I'd like to show you the effects of what we call poverty. Because you see, I posited before that the government of Cameroon has one of its public policies, and it's even the major one, the policy of poverty, abject poverty. That is a key public policy that Paul Biya has implemented religiously since he took over power in the Republic du Cameroon in 1982. And they have also enforced, they don't implement, they enforce that too on our territory. And what becomes a result of this? The system decides to drop all forms of checks and allow people to do whatever they want to do as long as it enables them to have what they need to eat, have enough money to drink, have enough money to do all the other kind of things that come with drinking and eating, become promiscuous all over the place, to the only effect that they don't bother about them maintaining themselves in power. So that anytime everyone knows that we are all liable, anything can happen to any of us at any time, and therefore the first mantra is to compromise. Because everybody has their hands dirty, it becomes easy to handle them. Because at any given moment when you say, "Hey," somebody says, "But what if they know?" Those are the kind of things. And so therefore people do all kinds of things they want to earn themselves a living. And because when they arrest, when they discover, they end up collecting money from the interest groups that are behind these people and still let those people go. That's why others are encouraged to continue doing the same thing. That is how you go into a major snack bar. Even inside Bastos in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, you are served fake liquor. A lot of people have confessed to falling victims to those in big nightclubs. This tells you that those who are producing those fake things, that the ones that they catch and you see, those are the ones that are executing. But the real people behind it are high ups, hiding somewhere, not bothering about the effects that it will have on the health of the people. That is exactly the kind of community that the people of the southern Cameroons do not want to belong to. Because in our community, we believed in quality control at all points. That's why we even had sanitary inspectors that will go from home to home, from neighborhood to neighborhood, ensuring that every household not only had a latrine, but a clean and decent one. To make sure that everyone is keeping the environment clean for public and general hygiene for everyone. But what you see over in La République du Cameroon is cacophony. What you see over in La République du Cameroon is the level of laissez-faire that you come to the clear understanding that the devil himself has left hell and is now carefully settled in person in La République du Cameroon. If not, take a look at where biscuit, they call it biscuit, they'll produce biscuit, producing chocolate. These are all fake things that end up destroying the health of the children. Take a look.
Il demande qu'il prenne son marteau. Les enfants sont bons quartier chez moi, moins 4 enfants. Oui, il faut besoin de biscuits. Le gars là, on dit qu'il faut des biscuits, il a son atelier. On veut le premièrement, hein. Voilà. Les enfants ont mangé les biscuits. L'enfant de mon gars, c'est mort.
Celui-ci?
Oui, son enfant, c'est mort. Aujourd'hui, tout à l'heure là, les cours sont à Nobel.
Quoi?
Tous c'est à Nobel. Il y a au moins 4 enfants, d'autres sont dans le truc.
I'm sure you are able to hear them. They're saying what caused the people to now come trace right up to this place where they're producing fake biscuits with all kinds of horrible ingredients is because a child ate of this biscuit and died. That's why you find them here. And you have this kind of things all over the place, to the effect that you can't be so sure whatever you are buying again in that country, whether it comes from where. No quality control. Zero checks anywhere. Even the people who are supposed to be out on the field there as the gendarmes, as the controllers, are the first people to collect money and enable this kind of practices to happen. My people of Ambazonia, this is not the kind of community we need. This is not the kind of society we want for our people. We want to take back our country. We want to make sure we kick these ill-fated people out of our land and make sure we restore the sanity of our land, restore the soul of our country, and make our country a place that believes that development means putting man, the human being, at the center of our thoughts. Let's finish it.
C'est très grave.
Look at it. Look at the filthy place.
La fille, il y a une fille qui me dit on l'a arrêté sur le jour. Pourquoi tu veux l'arrêter sur le jour? Oui, la fille là, maintenant, on posait là. Ah, mais on est venu arrêter pour rester l'autre jour. Pourquoi? On est venu se l'arrêter l'autre jour, la gendarmerie, non?
Tout en bas maintenant, non. Ce n'est pas les. Il faut seulement qu'on examine les fichiers.
And the most amazing thing is at the end of the day, when they will catch you, they'll say, oh, this is the way they manage to earn their living. Earn your living by putting the lives of thousands of people in danger. Yes, they will not go to jail. Forget. They may be detained a few days. That will be the end of it. You never hear about it. The jails in that country are that full of innocent people because of simple opinions they expressed, not of people like this one. Look at the kind of place. This is why I say those people in the southern Cameroons who continue to call themselves federalists, who continue to say they are unionists, who continue to fight, to work overtime to see that they maintain us in an evil union with this kind of people, those people are not our friends. The so-called elite or whatever claim to be seeing their interest in this kind of thing, those people, they are not of us. Just look at that. Horrible, to say the least. Horrible. I mean, really, really horrible, to say the least. I don't even have the courage to play it all the way to the end. That's why I'll take a quick break and get our people, sing something into my ears, shake my ears quickly, real fast, so that we open the real dossiers.
2016, say enough is enough. They get to take their country back. United Nations Resolution 1608, where we come together like two separate countries for Federal Republic of Cameroon. You and France will cancel her. Instead for you to apologize with the people for what you don't do, you carry a kelebe them. You can't kill our people, kill mothers, kill fathers, kill their children, kill women. You kill pregnant women, burn houses with people there inside, burn hospitals, burn schools, burn churches, burn villages. One day be one day, God will answer our prayers.
Exactly. God will answer our prayers. That is a clear thing. Nothing no will stop them. So, my people, I want to begin by saying this, that there are texts like this one that I'm about to read to you from our own Agbobala, I'll say our own because he's Southern Cameroonian, because he's from the southern Cameroon's extraction. When he says, and he's circulating this all over the place so feverishly, the North is asserting itself, the East is tiring, the South is raising its voice. But what are Anglophones doing? In this post-Biya transition, silence is no strategy. Disunity is not power. If we don't organize now, we will be spectators in our own story again. That's Agbo Bala talking. And I say this is exactly the reason I have to carry out this campaign over and over and over. First, referring to us again as Anglophones is an insult. Because when you refer to the people of the North, the people of the people that they refer to as Anglophones, that's exactly how they see us. That's exactly, they see us. Like the people of the Republic du Cameroon, they see us as a tribe. They say, oui, les Boulou. Il y a 5 Boulou. Boulou et Kambeti, il y a 10. Les Bassa, les Wadjo, les Bamilike, and then les Anglophones. But these entities I just mentioned, they are not saying les francophones. They are ethnic groups. Les anglophones is not an ethnic group, Mr. Bala. Les anglophones were not an ethnic group. Because in the context you say les anglophones and les francophones, there I understand you. Or is it the people of La République or the people of the Southern Cameroons? That's more appropriate. Because this is how they have wanted us to see even ourselves. And so when I see things like this, first they begin by sending me mad. Then next, the other intention of it is like telling people, get involved. This is where you will go. I want each and every one of us to take an opportunity and see for yourself as we are beginning this series. You will notice that in the calculus of the people of La République du Cameroun and their colonial master France, the people of the Southern Cameroons are a stake. We are not a stakeholder. They don't consider us stakeholders. We are a stake. We are in the menu all the time. Why do you want to find yourself in such a construct? The only way we become a stakeholder is by making sure that we unite around the common purpose that the people want. Not the kind of unity that Bala is talking about. Not uniting in submitting or in submission to slavery and servitude, but uniting to stand for our right, to stand for justice, to stand for what we believe in, to make sure we assert our freedom, to make sure we guarantee that the people of the Southern Cameroons enjoy absolute independence, as it has always been their desire. It is these distractions distracting us from preparing in the direction we have to prepare, to rather make us get involved in rubbish, in nonsense, in a stupid game that's being openly played like that for everyone to see. Like I said, today we're opening this full series that I will entitled the Tchiroma Show. This is where he starts. Issa Tchiroma Bakary says, this is his 2025 presidential election mantra. He says, our democracy must no longer be a distant promise, but a lived reality. We must breathe life into it, give it substance, and show courage. The project I am presenting to you is a call for collective mobilization. It demands deep reforms in all sectors: education, health, agriculture, industry, justice, culture, equality, security, and the environment. But more than a program, it is a vision. Now, listen, I don't want to get so much into this. It's true that we need to hear this, to educate ourselves on what we are going to be talking. I know you must have seen this on social media, where it says, a vision of a 21st century Cameroon, rooted in its values, open to the world and driven by its people. I want a state that respects, protects, unleashes potential, and no longer confiscates the future. Take note that this Tchiroma is admitting to all of these things that is raising as if is to condemn. Is admitting that this is exactly what this society is. He says, I want a Cameroon where power returns to the legitimate source, the people. Sounds familiar? Power to the people and equal opportunities. I call on everyone, young and old, rural or urban, women and men, the diaspora, intellectuals, workers, artists, teachers, traders, and believers of all faiths. It is together, united in our diversity, that we will achieve this shared goal. Change is not a threat. It is an opportunity for rebirth. My candidacy is not that of a man, but of a project, a momentum, a refusal to accept resignation. The time for waiting is over. The time for action is now. The time is ours. The day is not only mine, it is yours. It is ours. Together, let's take this decisive step. Together, let's reclaim our sovereignty. Let's reclaim our sovereignty. Underline sovereignty. Together, let's return power to the people. Yes, let's give power back to the people. Issa Tchiroma, my people of Ambazonia. I say a lot of these things will sound familiar because these are things we have heard. These are things we have seen. When Issa Tchiroma talks of let's reclaim our sovereignty, take note. Let's reclaim our sovereignty. From where? From whom? This is what the people of the Southern Cameroons have been talking about since 2018 and 17 in this phase. But we've been talking about it since 1963. You recall when John Gute got to Bamenda, he too couldn't help it. It is time to take back our sovereignty. It is time to restore our independence. It is time to take back our country. La République du Cameroun is not independent. It is not free. How then do you expect that you can be emancipated by being yoked to a people who themselves are not free? And they stand and tell you, we will give you special status, we will give you this, when they themselves are not enjoying that particular special status. Because when I said it, you could say it's Mba Akuro. But you hear it from their own mouths that that country is not free. It is not. That is why you are hearing Paris up, Paris down, France left, France right, Camto was in France. This one is Francophile. This one like that is supported by France. Oh, France is wanting for this one to be candidate. This is a clear admittance of the fact that La République du Cameroun itself is not independent. When you hear them shout sovereign nation, left, right, up, down, it's Badadash. Issa Tchiroma, who has been minister in Paul Biya's government from time immemorial, on at least 2 to 3 installments. This is him telling you it is time to take back the sovereignty of their country, La République du Cameroun, to restore, that was to say, to reclaim our sovereignty, because that country is not free. How do you hang and depend on someone who themselves are helpless? This is something we need to put in our brains. That's why I'm telling the people of the Southern Cameroons, this show is not for us. That show does not concern us. This is the time more than ever before for us to put efforts together, put our heads together, mobilize so seriously to ensure that we get these people and their French attachments, that we get this province of France out of our territory. That we get these overseas administrators of La République Française out of our territory. We will never know development We will never be free to determine the kind of education we want to teach our children in our schools. We will never be free to determine our own development priorities. We will never be free to industrialize. We will never be free to determine our own energy future by ourselves. The decisions will always be taken for us from France, channeled not directly to us, through Yaoundé, before they are downgraded to us. This is what we are in right now. And this is exactly what we are struggling to depart from. I see some of you who take the light to come down here and insult me. Oh, you and this your Ambazonia. Oh, you and this your thing. I tell you verily, verily, my brothers and sisters, the mess that you are in is even far bigger than you know it. You cannot continue to hook yourself up to a moribund being that themselves do not have sufficient oxygen to keep their system working. And you are hoping that they will make your own system to work. That is absolute stupidity. As I'm delving into this Issa Tchiroma show, let me say this. Issa Tchiroma Bakary is a very, very controversial figure. When it comes to issues like this, Issa Tchiroma Bakary, what he is doing could be new to people who don't know him, to people who are not acquainted to Cameroon politics, to people who don't have an idea how Biya plays. Take note, Paul Biya was never shy in saying what his mantra is, in saying what his approach is. He said that Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince is the first book he opens in the morning, and it is the last document he consults before going to bed in the night. Paul Biya said so. Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince. So you understand that this is someone who has put in place a system that is all about power, nothing short of power. And then, to complement, the French writer Jean-Paul Sartre, in his book Le Mensage, says again, en politique, tous les moyens sont bons, sauf qu'ils soient efficaces. That's in politics, all means are okay, provided they're efficient. Which means anything, no matter how dirty you play in politics, if it's efficient and gets you what you want, power, it goes. That is why Mr. Paul Biya did everything to divide the people, divide right down to families, so that no one agrees with the other one. So that at the end of the day, everyone sees him as being the only capable of holding everybody together. Because at the end of the day, he's one at the center of the attraction. Issa Tchiroma Bakary, in the 90s, when the opposition in Cameroon won the majority in parliament, listen well, because people don't know this. Some people have forgotten this. In 1992, the parliamentary and council elections that the SDF boycotted before taking part in the October elections, in the October presidential elections same year, the CPDM lost the majority. The CPDM had only 88 seats in that parliament. 88. They needed to be at least 91 to claim the majority. And at the time, the constitution was clear. The party that will have the majority in parliament will form the government, and the prime minister will come from that party. The NUDP of Bello Boba Maigari had 68 seats, 68 in parliament. The UPC, I guess they had about 18. You had the Adamu Namjoya's party had about 4 or 5, I guess 5 seats in the noon. Dakole Daisala of the MDP from the far north had 6 parliamentary seats. How did Biya manage, therefore, that the opposition that needed to unseat him had the majority, but he ended up being the one to outdo the opposition? He did with people from the north. With people from the north. Because of something fundamental that I'm about to raise here. And it is through this lens that you will be able to understand what is going on in that country. And that you should be able to understand that for the people of the southern Cameroons, you are not counted. If they talk of anyone from the southern Cameroon is in fetal position, you have to be assistant. Anything short of assistant, forget about it. Dead on arrival. Because of something called the North-South axis. Dakole Daisala, rather than working with all the other opposition parties so that the opposition could claim the majority in parliament, opted to offer his 6 seats to the CPDM, enabling the CPDM, therefore, in a coalition with Dakole Daisala's MDP, have 94 seats. That NUDP at the time was further weakened because they were strong. Were further weakened by who? Issa Tchiroma Bakary here. Issa Tchiroma Bakary here, along with another gentleman called Amadou Mustafa. While the party was still thinking things left and right, Issa Tchiroma Bakary and Amadou Mustafa broke off and formed an alliance with the CPDM and took ministerial positions. At that time, Issa Tchiroma Bakary became Minister of Transport, and Amadou Mustafa became Minister Delegate at the Presidency of the Republic in charge of special relations. When he exhausted his 5 years, when he did 5 years as Minister of Transport and was removed, Issa Tchiroma Bakary was in limbo for some time. He didn't save money. The guy suffered. And he went back to the opposition. That's when he formed something called FNSP. And fought with that political party without getting anywhere. Was in the opposition, betrayed here and there, but it didn't get him to where he needed to get to. Issa Tchiroma was about to die of hunger. That in 2008, you follow the audio of some lady. I'll come back to that audio, not within the framework of this broadcast. I'll come to another broadcast. Because everything that lady said in that audio, I relate with too many of them, having witnessed them life. Not hearsay. When I received Issa Tchiroma Bakary for an interview on Cameroon Calling in 2008, when he was campaigning so hotly, as you hear the lady say in that audio, that when he was begging to be minister again, everything, they took him to Mvamaka, saw President Biya's elder brother, the mother-in-law, and everything, and they said, let him do something to show his support, to show that he's determined. Issa Tchiroma Bakary carried the campaign for constitutional revision to give Paul Biya a life presidency on his head. He championed it to levels never before seen. Issa Tchiroma was in every single media house one Saturday afternoon. While I was at the radio, I guess I was upstairs in the newsroom. Someone came and called me, oh, Issa Tchiroma Bakary is down there. He just finished doing an interview with Dimanche Midi on the constitutional revision and they need him to do something, or he has to pass on Cameroon Calling. He must pass on Cameroon Calling. I was like, oh, really? Okay. And then they had written out 3 questions. The questions were written out. That's not conventional in journalism. They say, you ask him only these 3 questions, no follow-up. Just these 3 questions to Issa Tchiroma Bakary. Because these are the questions he had to answer. So it was public relations. Now, on Cameroon Calling, Most of the journalists, nobody want to do that kind of thing because that's spoiling your name. And so everybody was shy about it. And I was getting down. I think Judge Kilong look and say, hey, certified. Because they often call me certified risk bearer. Say certified. They're looking for you. There's something here for you. And when they said, they want you to do an interview with Issa Tchiroma Bakary on the constitutional revision. These are the 3 questions. Only these questions. No follow-ups. I said, okay, let him come. I said, come. Of course, I knew we were going to be locked, just 2 of us inside that studio. And I'll see who will come and seal my lips from asking those questions. I'm sure as I'm talking like this, my former colleagues at CNTV, George and others with Samson Webster and the others, they will definitely record this incident. So when I got into the studio, the director of information, Alain Belibi, was standing at the door of the studio. They were policing. You have to ask him just these 3 questions. But of course, the door will have to be closed so that no sound will interfere for this interview to be conducted. And that is what happened. And so while in there, he was not doing questions. It ended up being about a 14-minute interview. Because as Southern Cameroonians that we are, we knew we don't get stupid. When Tchiroma emerged from there, he was sweating and it was like, this one was just too challenging. There was not anybody could do to me though. The interview was conducted. They could edit it, but the onus was still on us. But what I'm trying to say here is, Issa Tchiroma was looking like a rope. He was finished. The way he was moving was looking like he was going to die the next minute. I'm saying this to say, what that lady is saying in that audio, it's not a lie. Because a lot of what she's saying, I relate with her and I'll be coming to it. So Issa Tchiroma Bakary had to settle down and start deconstructing all the criticisms he had poured on Paul Biya. Oh! To the point where even while he was Minister of Communication, if guys of local FM stations in Yaoundé wanted to get someone to blackmail him and get some money from him, they'll get up from nowhere and say they were visiting archives. And they'll play audios of Issa Tchiroma Bakary insulting Paul Biya and calling him names. And Tchiroma will call and negotiate. And he will explain and explain and explain. This is the same Tchiroma today that leaves you and I to understand that he has resigned from the government of Paul Biya at this point to go out there and be candidate. I'm sure we all recall what happened to Titus Edzwa when he resigned from the government of Paul Biya, when Paul Biya appointed Minister of Health for removing him Secretary General at the presidency and said he wanted to be a candidate. He stayed in jail until almost got blind inside there, until had to even end up begging, going back to his vomit, ready to eat all forms of excrement. It took interventions from France because of one Thierry Atangana, who was even a French citizen, was locked up with him for Titus Edzwa to finally see the light of day again from Kondengi. Because he dared to resign from Biya's government to challenge Biya. And if you know the Biya mantra, every member of government, director, deputy director, sub-director, chief of service, everyone, you are tasked to contribute handsomely to CPDM activities in the locality where you come from. They know you cannot have that money of your own volition. You will steal it. They help, they facilitate the theft. And sometimes they just send some team of investigators around to pass. They will audit you and they will make you know that, oh, there are a lot of irregularities here, but they make as if they've closed their eyes to it. The simple reason of doing that is they give you a rope and they walk away. So you now use that rope to hang yourself. You become a parrot for Paul Biya all your life because you know your safety and freedom depends on their goodwill. That's exactly how that system functions. They offer you a rope and leave you with a choice. Stay alive or harm yourself. The choice is yours. So Issa Tchiroma Bakary, when he passed at the Ministry of Transport, we all heard, even his own brother, Marafa Amidou Yaya, published a lot on the things that he did. And you have not so forgotten that when Marafa Amidou Yaya only indicated interest that he could be a candidate for president, all kinds of fights were brought against him. He's been in jail. He's even getting blind. Even his wife died. They never allowed him, even escorted, to witness the funeral ceremonies of his wife, to witness the burial of his wife. And you sit here and think that Issa Tchiroma Bakary will insult Paul Biya and go, still come back, still again healthily, publicly, madly, and go. And then one day gets on and says, I have resigned. I will challenge Paul Biya. In all his sanity, something must be wrong with you. Something seriously wrong is happening to you if you think it that way. This is why I am giving all of this so you understand exactly where we are. You understand what game is going on here. And I'd like you to look at this through a kind of lens. Take this. About 90%, and this is not an exaggeration, of the French language private newspapers in La République du Cameroun were created and financed by Jacques Famer Ndongo. I say about 90% were created and financed by Jacques Famer Ndongo with government money. And they were all created for the purpose of drowning the credible press. At the time when they created, when the opposition was at the peak, Jacques Famer Ndongo had to create too many of them so that they would create cacophony in the sector and render the press not credible. So that people will be doubting, but who finally is saying the truth here? So that at the end of the day, say, oh no, there is press freedom. People are free to write whatever they say and oh or not. Freedom. Some of those papers, somewhere along the line, when they stop receiving financing, once in a while, they will attack the creator. But at the core, a good lot of them are still doing the job for which they were created. Now I want to give you, therefore, indicators. Issa Tchiroma Bakary has resigned. If you don't find Cameroon newspapers behave like they used to, they used to behave sometimes, that they got up one morning, you found almost all the newspapers publish the picture of the, is it the president or the prime minister of Norway on the cover page and say, this woman, she's supporting genocide in southern Cameroon by keeping Cho Ayaba. This woman, she's an accomplice, she's supporting terrorism in Cameroon by keeping, you found all the papers as if they sat in one newsroom and wrote them. You know that? You see, another time get to say, oh, about all of the Ayabacho's picture, about all of the pictures of the leadership of Ambazonia. Oh, these are the people. I mean, all of them in chorus. That's how they function. Now, for you to know that Issa Tchiroma Bakary has effectively resigned, listen to me. Don't mind that rubbish he wrote on the paper and gets out is making all of that noise. But to know this is a genuine resignation. We will look at the papers. That is the first place you begin by seeing it. The attitude of the CPDM media attack dogs towards Issa Tchiroma Bakary will give you a vivid idea of exactly what is going on. Let's delve into a few. Look here. À quoi joue Issa Tchiroma Bakary? Expression économique. Of course, one of the papers in the group that I just mentioned a while ago. À quoi joue Issa Tchiroma Bakary? Just that kind of, lanky question. They try to seem as if they are being critical. They are asking committed questions, but this is not an attack. No, just à quoi joue Issa Tchiroma Bakary? You get into the mix as we are going. You move from there, you come here. This is emergence. Emergence is not one of the group. That's why you say emergence says Issa Tchiroma souffle le chaud sur Paul Biya. This is a paper which will begin by trying to give some credit to the fact that Issa Tchiroma Bakary has said he souffle le chaud. That is, he has turned the heat. That Issa Tchiroma Bakary has turned the heat on Paul Biya. But when I read the article, it's blank, it's empty, not very much to write home about. But we're getting to get to those typical regime, Biya regime attack dogs. We are getting there. Then you find this one comes here. Tchiroma sans emploi, that's le messager. Tchiroma sans emploi, Tchiroma now jobless. You look at right up to this point, you're not seeing the kind of thing that you are expecting to see in the paper. So someone who has benefited so much from the largesse of Paul Biya and then saying he's throwing in the towel. All of these are softballs, all softballs. Look here. Aujourd'hui, le peuple dit, trop c'est trop. Je l'entends, je le comprends, je le rejoins. That is l'info à chaud. You see that l'info à chaud is even friendly towards Issa Tchiroma Bakary. I mean friendly. A very wonderful softball. That they give a quote of him. That today the people have spoken. The people say enough is enough. I hear them. I join them. Issa Tchiroma Bakary. Oh wow. This is cute, right? We go on. Here, la météo, gouvernement, Bello Bouba claque la porte. Oh wow. This one is the one that's still in gestation. It's the same game. We are coming there. Bello Bouba claque la porte. Softballs for all of them. Let's move on. And then you come here. Bello Bouba Maigari face à l'histoire. Another softball. This is mutation, but mutation is not part of those attack dogs. So these ones are looking at it from another complete different perspective. But we're getting to where we are getting to. You get here. This is innovation. L'ingénieur ferroviaire devenu fin politicien. Did you see that? L'ingénieur ferroviaire devenu fin politicien. That is a railway engineer who has become, a refined politician. That is in Cameroon, eh? This is somebody who has just resigned from the Biya government. This is somebody who will look from the viewpoint of a bit of a traitor, a betrayer, or this and that, and all of those things. Just keep on with me, folks. You see here, l'actualité. Un départ sans conséquences majeures pour Paul Biya dans le Grand Nord. Ouf. His resignation of no moment, no consequence, no shake-up, nothing. Nothing lost for Paul Biya in the northern regions. Nothing lost. So Paul, nothing to worry about. You come here. The Guardian posted Tchiroma spits fire from Garwa. Oh, my brother says, hey, this place is shaking. This country is about to become interesting. Tchiroma is spitting fire. Fire? Okay, we will see. Then you get here. The Voice. Biya Tchiroma bond rupture materializes. Another exclamation sign. Oh gosh. You say, so this man's really resigned there. This should be a slap in Paul Biya's face. Of course, these are papers that are not part of that lot that I'm talking about. We will soon get there. Just keep it up. Here, Tchiroma quitte le gouvernement et entre en lice. That's l'œil du Sahel. L'œil du Sahel is owned by one gentleman called Gibai Gatama. Gibai Gatama, his key financier is Alamin Ousmane Mey. He was Minister of Finance and then now Minister of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development and things like that. And of course, who is a diehard of the CPDM, a major supporter of Paul Biya and a very close friend to Frank Biya. You see, l'œil du Sahel. Tchiroma quitte le gouvernement et entre en lice. Ah, all these softballs. Then you get here, le Popoli. Après Tchiroma Bakary, Bouba Bello, Maïgari. Okay. Here they are still observing. And then you see, while this is going on, you notice that people who are not aware, who are not initiated as to exactly what is cooking, are the ones who are agitating. That's why you see that lady who is screaming for 1 hour plus. She has multiple audios out there, screaming, spilling the beans, spilling. I'm sure they would even call her, caution her, apply speed brakes. Because she has spilled just so much bean that I'm sure they'll be telling her you went too far. But people who do not know are those that are agitating. Like this one who call themselves collectif des filles et fils de la région de l'extrême nord, Kofififlex. You heard the name Kofififlex. Whose mouthpiece is Amadou Bachiru. You heard that name, Amadou Bachiru, in that stuff. Listen, folks, I want to say this. Don't you forget, Issa Tchiroma Bakary was not only part of the Biya apparatus for all of this time, but Issa Tchiroma Bakary even had one of his militants appointed senator by Paul Biya. I like when you put together all of this. My dear people of Ambazonia, it is when you are not informed, when you are not aware, that they can take you on a stupid and very expensive ride. But when you know, you know. When you are aware, they can't do that to you. That is why you see in this document, people say, le collectif des filles et fils de la région de l'extrême nord tient à réagir face aux récents développements politiques survenus dans le septentrion, notamment la démission du gouvernement de M. Issa Tchiroma Bakary, président national du FSNC, ainsi que les manœuvres internes observées au sein de l'UNDP, laissant entrevoir une probable démission de M. le ministre d'État Bello Bouba Maïgari. In fact, in substance, they are saying in this document that they are not in our name. What Issa Tchiroma did by resigning and what Bello Bouba Maïgari is doing that they are observing within his party, the NUDP, which leads them to understand that he too could in the days ahead resign from government, where he has been in for a long time as Minister of State and eaten fat from the Ministry of Tourism till he can't eat anymore. So that's what they say. Le Cofiflex, I don't know what that means. Le Cofiflex se désolidarise fermement et entièrement de cette fronde que nous considérons comme hypocrite, égocentrique et déconnectée des aspirations profondes des populations de l'extrême nord. So they say they of the far north region are disconnecting themselves from this kind of things completely. This is not in their names. They say le Cofiflex refuse catégoriquement d'être instrumentalisé en tant que cheval de bataille politique par ces anciens dignitaires. That they don't want to be involved. They don't want to be used. They don't want anybody to use them. Of course, so they pour all kinds of invectives, insults, and all of those things. And they say, en conclusion, le Cofiflex invite tous ses membres, sympathisants et partenaires à rester vigilants, unis et à ne jamais perdre de vue notre idéal commun, porter la voix d'une jeunesse responsable, indépendante et tournée vers l'avenir. Of course, they are for Paul Biya. Like I said, those that are not initiated, those that are not informed, because this is a game at a very high level. So for that reason, of course, it has to seem like a real resignation. It has to seem like Tchiroma is so mad at this government that's ready to do them anything. That's why I've not heard Atanga Naponji come out here to say anything. That's why I heard a fanfaron like they call him that one in the Ministry of Justice, Jean de Dieu Momo, came out and sang the trash guy, he sang her all that, and I'm laughing. I'm dying of laughter. You see the review as I'm saying. Issa Tchiroma Bakary et ses proches, bientôt à Kondengi. Again, I said this is still from the people, from the groups of people who are not aware of exactly what is going on, who have no idea. My dear people of Ambazonia, my dear people of Southern Cameroons, the Biya regime has observed very carefully and noticed that there is likely to be a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. They have observed that the people of the three northern regions are getting mad, completely mad at the system and are ready. We're getting ready. We're getting mobilized to turn against the Biya system. And the only alternative they had before them, Maurice Kamto, a Bamilike man. I lived and worked in the far north region. I know what the dignitaries of the northern regions think about Bamileke people. Listen, I don't know if there is any Bamileke man who has successfully bought land in their name, build a house, and establish a flourishing business in the northern or far north region. I doubt if there's any. Because even for a Bamileke man to rent a house in those regions was very complicated. I know it because I experienced it. Because you go to rent a house, they sit there and say, oh, I heard there's a house free somewhere around here. I had a colleague, a Bamileke friend, who just sent to Marwa. He needed a house. So we saw about 3 or 4 houses. And we went there with him. I wasn't really needing one because I knew I wasn't going to be there for long. So I was staying in hotels and who moved? When he went ahead, because they said, oh, yeah, you saw vous vu maison à louer ici. Oui. So what's your name? Yeah. Where are you from? He said, oh, Baden-Kop and all. I said, no. The house that you saw there for rent, the bought that you saw for rent, the house has already been taken. The house has been taken. We go back. 3, 4, 5. I say, but those houses are rent. Then I show up. Me. Now say, okay, you stay. Let me try to see if I can get it for you. I show up. I present myself. 900 place. Say, you say, no, what's your name? John Akuro. Where are you from? Bamenda. Oh, Bamenda. Oh, Foncha. Do jam. They pull me a chair. Sit down. Yes, the house is there. La maison, le maison, c'est... We discuss and agree. But this gentleman was here in the morning, they told that same apartment was not there. You saw what this was Amadou Ali of blessed memory. When he wrote about the Bamileke people. Said they even had to go as far as avoiding that Bamileke people marry their daughters Because say the Bamilike people, when they spray, when they come in a place, they marry or they quickly want to make children with your daughters and all not with our children, so that they will be able to use those ones now that they are blood to penetrate our communities to see how they. Oh, yes, right to that extent. Recall, at the start of this broadcast, I told you this is about what is going on here is about the north-south axis. The north-south axis. But the French created that at the dawn of independence in La République du Cameroon. The north-south axis, so it's called l'axe nord-sud. Power will alternate between the people of the south. When they say the south, the grand south, center, south, east, and the people of the grand north. At the time, north was just one region. It was all Adamawa, north and far north were one. That's why here they say. No, I think Adamawa was there. Then north was there. It was just Adamawa and north. But that's how they considered it. It's later on that they created the far north. This Biada created the far north. So you look at this. So the BS system observes that the way Kanto is going and the disconnect that they were beginning to observe between the local populations of the three northern regions and the elite was indicating to them that that disconnect, because of the BS system, could result to something too dangerous. They have already experienced what it is causing, or they already experienced what it is causing in the southern Cameroons. That the elite are not connected to the base. That is why they try to use the so-called elite as much as they can, as much as they could in the southern Cameroons to see how to overturn the will of the people. It has not worked. And now they are seeing it replicated in the northern region. They have to sit down and tell themselves something has to be done. Something has to be done. And it has to be done very, very quickly. Like I was saying, if this paper is right, if Issa Tchiroma Bakary was truly in total discordant notes with the government of Paul Biya, Issa Tchiroma Bakary should actually be on his way to Kondenge. They will never even have allowed him to fly from Yaoundé to Garoua. That was not going to be possible. Now, somebody called Atanga Ponji has been making sure that Maurice Kamto will not hold a meeting anywhere, attend any meeting anywhere whatsoever. He even lands at the airport in Douala, and the people just want to come out and say hello to him. They militarized the city to another level, to the point the men and women in uniform are almost outnumbered the population. But today you hear that this 28th, this Saturday, this 28th day of June, Maurice Kamto is going to attend a meeting of the UDP party in Yaoundé to be hosted by Bello Buba Maigari. Another person that they say is about to resign. Hey, Atanga Ponji has not banned that meeting. No, Atanga Ponji has not banned that meeting. The sous-prefet of the administrative unit where this meeting is going to be held has not banned that meeting. Hey, my brother, Nasiri Paul Beya, the governor of the central of the central region, has not banned that meeting, at which Maurice Kamto is going to attend. Hey. At which Maurice Kamto is likely to go and build an alliance with Buba Bello Maigari's NUDP to fight Biya. And Atanga Ponji is not wanting to put him in the Molinex, to put Bello Buba and everybody who attend that meeting in the Molinex. Atanga Attends upon is not promising to send un serpent affamé, a hungry python to the place. Hey, anyway, I'm just passing on. Like I said, then La Nouvelle. La Nouvelle is one of the papers of the group. It was created with this name La Nouvelle to set confusion in the minds of the people regarding another paper that was really, really pro-opposition called La Nouvelle Expression. The owner of La Nouvelle Expression is the same person who is the owner of Equinox Radio and Television in Douala, Severin Chumke. So they created La Nouvelle so to create confusion in the minds of the people. So therefore, La Nouvelle is one of those papers getting financing from Jacques Famandongo. And then La Nouvelle, publishes calmly dans notre prochaine édition présidentielle 2025. Et si Camto s'alignait derrière le candidat unique du Grand Nord, now, who is the candidate unique of the Grand Nord? Takes us back. North-South axis. Because in their psychic, you should not envisage that kind of situation where Camto, a Bamilike man, finds himself president. How? No. While France has beef with the people of the southern Cameroons, and these are people you can't trust, they have a lot of independent minds to the point where if you let them climb there thinking that you manipulate them, they can get there and play the kind of no. Un anglophone là jamais. Never. Don't ever dream about that or forget about that one. No. But for the Bamilike people, like I said before, no, France cannot conceive the situation where a Bamilike man is president in the Republic du Cameroon. That will be over their dead bodies. That's why Joseph, one of blessed memory, said with all confidence, un Bamilike a étudié jamais. But again, these are regime papers. Not coming here to castigate Issa Tchiroma or castigate Bamilike Bakary. No. They're rather saying, but these people, they're just coming, they don't have 1/10 of the popularity of Camto right now. But Camto should rather be behind them. Okay, let's go. We're getting to the end. Do you see this one? L'axe Nord-Ouest se précise. Still one of the papers from the group. There's still a Famandongo sponsor paper. L'axe Nord-Ouest se précise. That now they want to create the North and the West axis. All of these papers are pushing something they desire. And all of this pushing that you are seeing fall in line with the policy that led to the so-called resignation of Issa Tchiroma Bakary and the imminent resignation of Bamilike Bakary. That's why you see even this other one. This is another paper of the group. Coup d'éthique. Another paper from the same group. You see, un lieu. You see Tchiroma, Bamilike, and then Camto. There is a reason. A good reason why. My people of Amazonia, I'm taking time to dissect these things here and to bring these explanations so that we understand that what our brother Bobala is saying there, we should reason it rather to the fact that this is the time more than ever before for us to close ranks and focus on freeing our homeland. You see all those dynamics You don't exist. You are in the menu. You don't exist. The time that they will make a mention of anyone from the southern Cameroons, you will see where they'll be fitting you. The West, they have been talking about them now because of the noise Camto is making and the crowds they see him pull. That's what informed this movement, this decision that you are seeing. Like I said, this is a series. I don't intend to be too long here, but just to say, by the time I came to the end, I got this one. That Monuna Futsu, who is the Minister of Youth Affairs, has just been appointed by Paul Biya to, at the same time, to the Minister of Employment and Professional Development. The ministry that Issa Tchiroma Bakary was holding. You see the speed with which an interim, with which someone has been appointed at that ministry, tells you again that this is not exactly what you are thinking about. You want to doubt? The Minister of Mines and Industry died over 2 years ago. That's the ministry where Callisto Gentry is minister delegate. Or no, Secretary of State. The minister died about 2 years ago. Nobody has ever been appointed there. Callisto Gentry, by deed of being Secretary of State there, has just been acting. Nobody has ever been appointed. I said 2 years over. But this is a few days only that Issa Tchiroma Bakary said he resigned from a moribund ministry like a Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training. A dead ministry like that, they have to hurry to appoint someone. Folks, I'd like you to know, and don't forget, that even before his resignation, Issa Tchiroma Bakary met with the French ambassador, met with a series of French officials. Does this tell anybody anything? If he's not telling you anything, let us rehearse again. As we end.
Mitterrand avait dit un anglo-saxon à Yaoundé jamais. Et donc, quand le chairman est donc en prison, la femme qui était consul, elle envoie me chercher. Et elle me dit, tu sais, depuis la coordination, tu es un peu la confidente de toute l'opposition. Et surtout, tu es l'ami de John. Il appelait comme ça. Donc, Frances me dit que bon, on va te donner une voiture banalisée. Tu vas dire à John qu'on a négocié. Washington et Paris ont négocié pour qu'il soit vice-président. Nous avons besoin de lui. Mais les Français ne peuvent pas accepter qu'il remporte la victoire. Et puis tu lui dis que nous, les États-Unis, on pense qu'il vaut mieux qu'il soit à côté du pouvoir pour prendre connaissance des dossiers. Ah, avec Frundi, c'était la bagarre. Il me dit que mais pourquoi Français?
So, like I said, this was a rehearsal because I've played this here before. Just so that you don't forget anything. Because anytime these things stay in your mind, you'll be able to connect the dots when some of these things happen. That's why I'm bringing them. You'll be able to connect the dots. So that you first of all know, as far as France is concerned, we don't exist. Well, Bobale is saying we become spectators of our own history, being written before us again and all whatnot. We are not part of that nonsense. All the things that are happening now should inform any reasonable Southern Cameroonian. This is the time more than ever before for each and every one of us to mobilize and mobilize and mobilize seriously to support our liberation movement to ensure that we send La République du Cameroon packing out of our territory. This is what should be our mantra. My dear brothers and sisters of Ambazonia, some of you have reached out to me and said, You are weary of making contributions through the normal contribution channels because of one reason or the other. I understand you. Some of us are already here. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm here. And I'm not going to go anywhere all the way to the end. Like I said before we engaged, we knew that this was not going to be a walk through the park, that anything can happen at any time. And so, for those of you who understand that we need contributions, we need money to support our people, to support the people who are sacrificing and shutting down their shops every Monday, who have major issues, major health concerns here and there, who need our assistance to support our food soldiers who are going from community to community, mobilizing our people to stay on. And you don't want to contribute through the channels that we have given because of some of the reasons you have presented to me. This is my phone number I'm giving here: 240-883-6443. If you're out of the United States of America, begin with +1. +1-240-883-6443. WhatsApp only. You send me a text, indicate when you want us to talk, and I'll give you a call back. Or you can call. WhatsApp only. Again, the phone number is +1-240-883-6443. I want to thank each and every one of you that set aside time to be part of this broadcast. As I said, I will definitely be back here tomorrow, this Saturday. And for tomorrow, it's going to be pretty late. That will be when it will be 10 to 10:30 p.m. Amber time. That's when we'll be meeting here tomorrow for yet another in the series of this broadcast designed to let our people know what is happening. I just got to this point today and I'll stop because we've already been pretty long. But tomorrow, we're opening the next stage. Just don't miss it and make sure you don't let anyone that you know to miss it. To God be the glory.